From thousands of miles away from nations like China, Iran, Russia, and even North Korea to the heart of the Ukraine crisis, and of course, the shadow of Putin's invasion, we are now uncovering this narrative where basically keystrokes from thousands of miles away can literally create one of the biggest threats that we've seen, or at least known to mankind in 2024. I know it sounds a little dramatic, but think about it. Across these national borders, these countries, they're engaging in what we're seeing today as cyber attacks. These attacks, they threaten the very fabric of American life, and they're putting millions of people, not just Americans, but millions of people at risk. I mean, look at this, guys. California, Florida, Texas, and New York, they are at the top of the list as the worst states in the United States hit by data breaches. Now, this is cause for alarm, guys. Now, for those of you guys who are at home, just imagine this, right? Imagine you kind of like scrolling through your feed, and then all of a sudden, like a headline kind of grabs your eye, screaming, right? Your morning coffee might taste like cyber warfare, right? I know it sounds like a plot from the future or something like that, but here's the deal, guys. Under President Joe Biden's watch, okay, the United States has clamped down with sanctions on, count 'em, 6 officials from Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. You might be wondering, why is this happening, right? Hacking into American water plants. That's right, guys. Our water, our tap water, our water system, our daily necessity is under siege by cyber threats, right? And it gets way worse than this, guys. By the way, if you guys appreciate the updates, if you appreciate the content, and if you're able to hear me, please drop a quick like for the video and make sure to subscribe to the channel. And I definitely want to thank you guys so very much for always sharing my videos. You guys are the best. And I just can't thank you guys enough for the support. So anyway, by the way, E4MB1011, appreciate you dropping that quick comment in there. Awesome. I appreciate your support. Now, think about this, right? You're checking your mailbox. Maybe you're logging into your bank account only to find that it's empty, right? The social security check that you depend on has been snatched away by some malicious code, right? It's a stark warning of how today's interconnected global, cyber warfare can literally not only disrupt our national security, but it can affect our personal financial well-being. And this is real, guys. So I'm going to kind of dive a little bit deep into this one, specifically how the United States is actually attempting to fight back with some sanctions issued by President Joe Biden's administration. And I want to talk a little bit more about these cyber threats that could be lurking in our tap water. Yeah, guys. So make sure you got your filtration systems. There's some wild stuff happening here, guys. And I also want to talk a little bit about these digital warfare threats that we're now seeing. And this saga actually involves everyone from Pennsylvania senators to your next door neighbor. So pay attention, guys. I'm going to share a lot of information with you guys in this video. So basically, where do we start? Where the actions of countries like China, Iran, Russia, North Korea, and of course the ongoing tensions in the Ukraine. Under Putin's aggressive stance, they're not just international issues, guys. They're actually personal issues. They're impacting Americans' lives, and they're affecting our personal safety across all states, all 50 states, right? This is a call to be vigilant. So I want you guys to pay very close attention. I hope you don't have some basic passwords like what we talked about before, like 4 ones as your password. Like if your passwords are that simple, you're just waiting to get hacked, right? Now, before you spit out your coffee, sanctions, they're kind of like digital. They're like the digital cold shoulders, so to speak. It's like kind of a way of saying like, hey, cut it out or else, right? And this is pretty much what President Joe Biden is doing here, okay? He's doing this without necessarily sending out the troops. Hopefully we don't end up going that far. We don't need any kind of activity that leads us to a potential World War III scenario. We definitely do not need that, especially with everything that we've got going on. I mean, heck, looking at our Texas, Mexico southern border situation, the American people, the United States is definitely stretched a little bit thin, to say the least, right? But this isn't just, politics here. Picture this, right? Some hacker halfway across the world decides to go ahead and play puppet master with the water supply here in the United States that happens to provide water to your house. Maybe this provides water to your school, your kid's school, or maybe even your office, right? So we're literally talking about the stuff that you drink, that you bathe in, that you cook with, right? This is a reality that is, it's in today's world, right? And the battles, they're not just fought with bullets and aircrafts and bombs, right? Some of these battles we're dealing with here they're fought with bites. Now, if you look at the cyber attacks on the water systems, they're no joke, guys. They're basically serving as a wake-up call for how bad things could get. I mean, like imagine like a simple glass of water could actually leave us very vulnerable. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't drink no tap water. I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure most people don't drink tap water. But think about what you use tap water for. A lot of people don't use filtered tap water to cook with. A lot of people won't drink tap water, but they will use that same tap water to do, basic things around the house with. They'll cook with it or whatever, and they won't filtrate it. So imagine what could be in that. It could be quite harmful, right? It's kind of like, finding out that your fortress has been built on sand. It's not a good idea. And, it's not just about water. It's about our power grids. It's about our internet. It's about our cellular networks, our cellular towers. These 5G towers that you guys seeing around here, they can all be targeted. And just imagine what kind of disruption would happen with just a few keystrokes that could literally take place from thousands of miles away. So first off, cybersecurity is a big deal, right? Just kind of like you lock your doors at night, securing our infrastructure from cyber threats, it really needs to be on top of everybody's mind, especially President Joe Biden, right? Now, nobody expects to turn on the news and see their water supply as the latest battlefield, right? But of course, here today, I guess nothing really surprises me anymore, right? But imagine this, guys. Imagine this. So last year, a whopping 70.6 million people relied on Social Security checks in order to keep their lives, going, day-to-day lives, bills paid, So a lot of people are relying on Social Security. Now, for a lot of people, Social Security is literally the difference between a calm retirement and financial stress, between affording medication or even cutting back on some essentials. Now, if we go ahead and toss in the mix a cyber attack that's aimed at the heart of the Social Security Administration, oh man, I mean, it's not just a bad scene from a tech movie, from a tech sci-fi movie or something like that. This is a potential nightmare for millions and millions of people. I mean, think about it. Picture this: like one day, you're going about your business. Maybe you're planning a small trip. Maybe you want to go check out, see the grandkids or something like that. Or maybe you're just getting by, right? And then all of a sudden, you hear news of a cyber attack on Social Security, right? Now, suddenly, this reliable check that we've been counting on is up in the air, all right? Systems are down, systems are frozen, data's compromised. You try to call the Social Security Administration, nobody's answering the phones are busy, or they got you waiting on hold for like 3 hours only for someone to answer the phone and accidentally hang up on you and not call you back. I mean, like there's chaos in trying to figure out exactly who's affected and how badly, right? But what is President Joe Biden doing to keep the American people safe? That is what a lot of people are wondering right now, right? Now, for the average Joe, and for the average Jane, of course, this isn't just a technical glitch. It's a direct hit to their lifeline. Social Security is not just some government program. It's not some entitlement program like a lot of politicians like to call it. It's not some welfare program. It is literally the backbone of our financial system, and especially for millions of people's retirement and their disability. Now, when this is threatened, this is not just some inconvenience. This is not some small thing, right? This is it's like a cold wave of worry that, like how are people going to cover the bills? How are they going to be able to purchase groceries and pretty much everything else that depends on this check arriving like clockwork, right? Now, think about the ripple effect, right? It's not just individuals that are worried about their next payment. It's businesses noticing customers tightening their belts. These businesses, they will fail if people aren't buying stuff. right? And this could literally create a very unsure financial future for a lot of people. Local economies will feel the pinch as people prioritize essentials, possibly leading to job cuts, maybe reduced hours at work. So this could literally expand quite a bit. Now, here's where it really hits home. So cybersecurity, it's not just some abstract, concept floating around, right? Millions of people, literally millions of people depend on Social Security. And a cyber attack could mean the difference between a secure retirement and some unexpected hardships, evictions, foreclosures. So some people are saying that I'm blurry in here. Am I blurry? I don't think I'm blurry. I don't know. No, I think I'm okay. Let me know if you guys think I'm blurry on here. I was seeing a couple comments, but so basically, what's the takeaway of this, right? Well, it's a call to action, not just for the techies, but about recognizing the importance that cybersecurity measures, staying informed about the risks, and also understanding how deeply this technology is woven into the fabric of our daily lives. And a lot of people, they're not using cash anymore, right? So many people are relying on technology and don't even realize it. Most people are swiping, making payments with credit cards. That's technically a cashless society if you think about it. Now, in the grand scheme of things, making sure that the cybersecurity of Social Security is good. It's not just about safeguarding the data. It's also about protecting the financial stability and the peace of mind of millions of people. Nobody wants to have to sit around worrying about this stuff. So let me know, do you guys feel comfortable knowing that President Joe Biden is taking good care of the American people? Or do we need to take care of ourselves? I'd love to know what you guys think about that. So, but anyway, from Social Security and our water supply, I want to talk about something else that's happening right now. So, we're talking about flying drones, like drones flying in the dead of night. You got cyber warriors like typing away in these dark rooms or whatnot, and what they're doing thousands of miles away is a little bit alarming, right? So get this, guys. There was this drone attack that went down near the Jordan-Syria border. I don't know if you guys heard about that, right? But this wasn't just any old drone buzzing around taking pics for Instagram. This was actually a very serious situation. This was a very serious operation. 3 U.S. soldiers lost their lives because of this. Now, a lot of people are wondering, well, who's behind this thing? Well, turns out an Iranian-backed militia was actually behind this. And I don't know, this is kind of stuff that just shows how much the game has changed. No one physically was there to cause this attack. It was literally a 100% unmanned drone that took out 3 people, 3 U.S. soldiers, by the way. So it's not just about armies facing off armies anymore, one-on-one and, boots on the ground kind of situations. It's now, these shadowy groups backed by countries pulling off moves that feel like, this is out of a movie. But of course, there's more to the story. There's always more to the story. You guys ever heard of the IRGC's Cyber Electronic Command? Well, these people, they're kind of like the elite hackers of Iran's Revolutionary Guard. So they're not just playing around with some code for fun. They're actually engaging in full-on cyber warfare. And this is the real deal, guys. Like, they're showing that wars are not just fought with guns and bombs anymore. It's now about hacking into systems, shutting down critical infrastructure, or even spying through digital backdoors, so to speak. But now what's really wild is how this high-tech espionage and drone warfares, it just shows how much the battlefield has evolved. And it's like we're living in the future where, basically your smartphone, your laptop, your power grid that keeps your lights on, these are all potential targets. And it's a little bit concerning to say the least. I don't know how many of you guys have backup generators, but if you don't have one, you might want to consider getting one. I actually have a list of some critical outbreak and survival preparedness lists in the description down below this video if you guys want to check them out. It might be worth at least checking to see how many of these items you already have in your house to make sure you'll know how prepared you are in the event that you might actually need it, right? But this stuff matters, right? It's not just about the soldiers on the battlefield far, far away. It's about the possibility of a cyber attack literally taking down the power grid in your city, maybe even a drone strike happening in places where you wouldn't expect it, right? So I definitely would say, it's a huge wake up call today. Um, and we need to be aware of what's going on, guys. I mean, we've heard from the FBI director, Christopher Wray, multiple times, especially after the Israel Hamas attack, which took place, that we need to be aware. Sleeper cells exist here in the United States. And I don't, I wouldn't want any of my viewers to be victims of any of these things that could potentially happen. So I'm just kind of sharing this information, right? So, the next time you hear about drones or cyber attacks in the news, just remember this stuff's not just, this is real stuff, right? And it's got some real implications. And so we need to be safe. I know it's a complicated world nowadays, but we definitely need to be aware of what's going on, right? But so America's water systems, they're kind of like a gold mine for these cyber hackers, right? They're target rich and they're cyber poor, if you want to think about it that way, right? It's kind of like a fancy way of saying that there's a lot to gain for hackers, but there's not enough defense against them, right? Like these our water systems, they are really they're very vulnerable from a technology standpoint because no one ever expected that a water system would be under attack. But imagine somebody like breaking into the control system of your city's water supply and finding out that the password was as simple as like 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? I know it sounds super crazy, but this is the kind of basic, simple security slip ups that we're talking about. And it's unfortunate, but there's a lot of vulnerabilities just sitting out there that are simple like that. It's like we're not even trying to protect ourselves. So, but also like some hackers in Iran actually decided to use some tech from an Israeli company to launch their cyber attacks. And I know it sounds something, like out of a spy novel, but this is literally like a full on international cybersecurity chess match that's going on right now. It's just wild what these guys are doing. So, I hope that this serves as a wake up call for you guys. Things are getting a little sketchy to say the least, right? So, if it's kind of wild to think that international relations, cybersecurity, and your freaking kitchen faucet, for God's sake, right? These are all connected. And let's not even get into all like how much smart appliances we have in the house that are connected to Wi-Fi that could technically get hacked, right? Who knows? Maybe a microphone gets turned on or a camera gets turned on, you get spied on inside your house, right? But of course, we got Pennsylvania senators, we got congressmen stepping up to the plate, swinging for the fences, trying to get a handle on the wild west of cyber threats. But yeah, so but here's the kicker, guys. Again, this is not some one-off problem. It's like we're living in this massive global neighborhood and not everybody wants to play nice. I mean, we're talking like countries like China, we got Russia, we got North Korea. These places are often mentioned in the same breath as cyber threats. It's not because they're leading the charge in digital peace and love. It's because, they got game in this whole cyber arena and they're not afraid to use it. Now, this whole scenario is it's like a big, huge puzzle here, but really every piece is kind of connected, right? You got one hack here, you got one attack here, one cyber attack here, and then all of a sudden, it's not just an email going missing or a website crashing. It's like, it's like the fabric of our daily lives: water, power, safety, social security, finances. These could all literally get pulled at the flip of a switch. So I'm just saying, when these lawmakers are calling for action, I really hope they're not just talking shop. I hope they're actually trying to do something here. I think it's wise to definitely stock up, make sure you have water, batteries, dry foods that can last like days or weeks. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. You know, I think we're highlighting a massive shift on how we need to think about security and protection here, right? So, it's no longer just about which army has the biggest nukes, the biggest army. You know, I think it's also about who's got the sharpest coders, who's got the tightest security protocols. And of course, the most importantly, who's got the best teamwork on a global stage. Because at the end of the day, this is why we were talking about the United States the other day. We have so many different issues that we're trying to tackle right now. We may have too many issues being addressed at the same time. We may need to just kind of break them down and identify what's the most critical issue and address that one issue first versus, trying to just shotgun everything. And again, this is an election year. This is an election year, 2024 presidential election. There's a lot of seats in the House of Representatives and the Senate that are up for re-election this year. So it's going to be a busy one. It's going to be a busy one. But yeah, so anyway, I hope you guys are doing well today. I hope you guys take heed to the message. If you haven't already, do hit the like button for the video, subscribe to the channel, share this video with someone who needs to hear about it. And I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. You guys take care and be safe.